Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
Oh, the world of sports. Game 3 World Series tonight, Monday night. The world's best football operation, the Kansas City Chiefs play. All sorts of drama yesterday. It's the Herd in Chicago, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day on whatever platform it is. J-Mac, 1 hour from now, where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. There's obviously plenty of both. And got to say, the Green Bay Packers, no quarterback. It can be Favre, it can be Rodgers, it can be Jordan Love. That second half last night, woo!
Yeah. 20 straight completions. Woo!
Let's start with that. So I saw a headline this morning, up and coming Jordan Love stars as the Packers beat the Steelers. Jordan Love second half on the road, standalone game against maybe a Hall of Fame coach and a veteran defense. That's as good a second half in that spot as Favre and Rodgers had. He is elite. Arm, size, mobility, accuracy, combine that with Matt LaFleur's play design and the Green Bay smart front office. This is going to be a Super Bowl capable winning team for the next 5 years minimum. And last night was very instructive for NFL fans. I watched a game between the Packers and the Steelers, and I saw smart and progressive and offensively nimble from one franchise. And then I also watched the Steelers. I mean, these are two franchises going in the opposite direction with the opposite ideology. Aaron Rodgers has done a good job to put some makeup on this organization, but they need a facelift. Two iconic franchises. One of them has embraced offense. One has an old quarterback, one has a young star. One is loaded with young talent at wide receiver and tight end. The other spends a fortune on defense. It's revolutionary against the Rust Belt. As Steelers spend all that money on defense, why do they tackle so poorly? And for the record, Las Vegas sees it. You know who's favored to win the AFC North this morning? The 2-5 Baltimore Ravens. You can't fool Vegas. And you can see it in the Steelers' mentality. First half, 4th and 3. Let's kick a field goal. That's not it, man. That's not it. The second half by Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, all-time stuff. 16-19, outscore the Steelers 28-9, passer rating at 148. And the Steelers, meanwhile, dead last in fourth down attempts. It's punts and field goals. Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh stuck in the wrong era. And it was so instructive to watch Green Bay, little small market Green Bay, draft and develop and pay. I mean, you look at what Green Bay is paying. Star quarterback, Micah Parsons. It's all the right stuff, right? There's an offensive lineman making a lot of money. There's a coach and a quarterback making money. There's a pass rusher making money. Pittsburgh, it's old. It's defense. Aaron's doing the best job you can to put a little makeup on the blemishes, but they need a lot more than that. This was about Jordan Love. This is what Green Bay does. Pittsburgh doesn't show the urgency at quarterback, so they end up with a 41-year-old quarterback. Green Bay drafts quarterbacks 3 years before they need them, lets them develop, and Jordan Love is no longer up and coming. Stop it. He's the top 6-7 guy in the league. He has officially arrived as a star quarterback in this league, and here is Matt LaFleur after.
It's great for Jordan. Jordan's worked his off to get here. He was patient throughout the process, throughout the journey, and he took advantage of the opportunity. He's a great teammate. He encourages the other guys. He's a hell of a leader. And he's really grown as a football player.
Yeah, there's no up and coming about it. That second half, in that space, that defense, that coach, that was something else. And I said this last year, and I've said it a half a dozen times this year. That tight end, Kraft, that is a 10-year Pro Bowler. That guy is unbelievable. There's your Travis Kelce. I mean, that kid is unbelievable. It's amazing where you get these tight ends. Small schools, 4th round, George Kittle, 5th round. That kid is an all-time talent. Way to go, Packers. Well. What do you know? As the Packers are surging the rival Bears at the most important position and offense, look a little lost. That was a bad loss to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson can't play, and the Ravens still control the game. 3rd straight week. Or is it 2nd straight week? Caleb Williams didn't have a touchdown. So first, Tyler Huntley deserves a lot of credit. The backup quarterback for the Ravens. Total pro, totally coachable, very efficient. That kid, 77% completion percentage and no turnovers. Never got the Ravens in trouble. Let's be honest. He was tremendous. He's exactly what a backup quarterback should be. Let's give that kid credit. Tyler Huntley, you are a pro. You are exactly what I want from a backup. I mean, he made every time they asked him to make a big throw, he did it. So let's just not blast Caleb. That is what a backup quarterback is. I may need you twice a year. Lamar was there, high-fiving him. Pro, gets the play off in time, made 3 or 4 big throws, knew when to get down, knew when to throw it away. That's one of the best backup performances you're going to see. Now let's talk Caleb, because that's what the game was about. Ben Johnson is a timing and rhythm head coach for the Bears. Folks, Caleb's not a timing and rhythm quarterback. It's a weird marriage. Maybe it lasts, but they're going to be in therapy for 25 years. This thing is going to be a weird marriage. Caleb, here's what's worrisome. If you look at Caleb, he's very good, right, on script in the first quarter. But in the 2nd through 4th quarters, he's completing 58% of his throws, and it gets worse. On the opening drive of the game, Caleb Williams this year completes 81% of his throws with 111 passer rating. The rest of the game, he completes 59% with an 87 passer rating. You take away that opening drive with Ben Johnson, and I've said you got the right coach, and it gets ugly. I mean, the Bears offense, it's like that kid, when the parents are home, he's fine. They leave, go to the grocery store. They come back and the house is burnt down. You can't script the entire game. You got to be good beyond the 1st or 2nd series. You got to be able to do stuff on your own. And he's dynamic. I think he's a nice guy. He's got a big arm. He's obviously on script, very coachable. But top-tier quarterbacks hit the layups. Even the layups look hard. And that interception by Caleb is a prime example. Caleb saw it one way, that interception. He saw it one way. Ben Johnson sees this interception an entirely different way. Listen to this.
He undercut the route, and I could have let him farther out in front instead of trying to give him a shot right here. And that's he did it. He made a great break on the play. Just unfortunate where we were on the field in the situation.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out on film just one more time. Just in my mind, there might have been another option that we could have gotten to.
Not good. If I would have told you before the game, one of these quarterbacks would complete 77% of his throws and have a 117 passer rating, you probably wouldn't have guessed the undrafted career backup. Not good. Again, some marriages need a lot of therapy. And I think the Bears have to play it out for the rest of the year and probably next year. And there is a big arm, that throw to DJ Moore. It can be exciting. It is fun. There are moments. He's talented. I'm not saying that. But the top-tier quarterbacks in this league all have something in common. 12 yards and under, the layups, Drake May, it's easy. I mean, it's just really easy looking. Some of this stuff is, it shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this difficult. We've seen them to open the season. We've seen them with extra time. It just looks hard all the time. And again, first drive, he's one quarterback. Rest of game, he's another. So he's coachable. He listens. but you can't hold the hand. You can't babysit in this league. At some point, you're going to have 14 possessions. 12 are kind of on you. So I've said before, your eyes don't lie. This is not ideal. I mean, and for the record, Sean McVay chose Jared Goff, and he moved off him. Ben Johnson didn't choose Caleb. I'm not saying there's resentment, but this is a timing rhythm coach. It's not a timing and rhythm quarterback. You can win with timing and rhythm. You can win. Cam Newton got to a Super Bowl. You can win the other way. I think for consistency's sake, you got to be more timing and rhythm than just do it yourself. For the record, Jordan Love can do the timing and rhythm, but Jordan Love also sees the field. He does a lot of stuff on his own. So does Mahomes. I mean, the more I watch Jordan Love, you know who I see? Patrick Mahomes. That's what I see. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but when I looked at Andrew Luck, I said 5 years ago, I'm like, Sam Darnold is like 80% of Andrew Luck. He's not as good as Andrew Luck. But when I watched Darnold come out, I said, it's like Andrew Luck, not as good. When I watched Jordan Love, size, movement, arm, can follow coaching, can be good off script, I see some Mahomes. Some Mahomes. With Caleb, I don't know exactly what I see. I don't quite know. The timing and rhythm stuff, I've said before, it's hard to quarterback efficiently in the NFL, but it can't look too hard. Like marriage isn't easy, but if you're in therapy twice a week, it probably isn't going to work, right? So that's where we are today. J-Mac, once again, here come the Packers surging, headed to a Super Bowl, and Chicago's trying to figure out offense.
You know, I saw an interesting stat that Kyle Hamilton, the great safety for the Ravens, was in the box on 61% of snaps. So the Ravens said, we're going to take away the run game. Caleb, can you beat us?
Yes.
And he could not do it. You take away the run game. And by the way, I think you're letting the Bears defense off the hook, Colin. They let Tyler Huntley get the Ravens to the red zone 6 times.
Well, you know what? You know what it is? The Bears defense, it's a little fool's gold.
Yes.
It's a takeaway defense.
Right.
Okay. So when they take the ball away, they go on a 4-game winning streak. Right. But when they don't take it away, they give up like 6 yards of play. And you saw it time and time again. We got to give credit to Tyler Huntley. I know he's a backup and he's not a star and he's in our business. We're not going to talk a lot about him. That is exactly what I want from a backup quarterback. That was one of the most impressive backup quarterback performances. I mean, if you didn't know who he was, you'd be like, oh, that guy's pretty good. You can win playoff games with that guy.
I think the Bears were down a few guys in the secondary. So, like, things lined up.
The whole league is down, people.
Yeah, that's the problem. Listen, my Jets put up 500 yards of offense, and Garrett Wilson didn't even play. It's like, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah. All right. The world's best football team, the Kansas City Chiefs, play tonight. We have Game 3 of the World Series tonight. Colin right, Colin wrong, top of next hour. Matt Hasselbeck, Carson Palmer. May have to call Nick Wright. We may have to go 4 hours today. We got too much stuff.
Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Great partners on Hard Rock Bet. You don't have to wait for week 9 to kick off all the action, and you want to get in on that action. It's the golden time of the year with basketball. Homers, hat tricks, always something to bet on. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. $5, that's it. If it hits, you not only get your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets from Hard Rock Bet. If you think baseball is slow, even when the title's on the line, not when you bet. The average first inning lasts just 17 minutes, and first inning bets are one of the most popular ones in the entire Hard Rock Bet app. So you can bet if there's a run in the first inning or a no-run first inning. Fast, fun, easy. You can parlay first inning bets for a bigger, faster possible payout. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today. Make your first deposit.
It's been brought to my attention that I went 4-1 with the Blazing 5 for the 3rd week in a row. Let's not brag about it. Let's just put our head down and try to get a 5-0 week, whatever. So Denver, Dallas, Mike Vrabel and Sean Payton are proving, even if you're saddled with dead cap money from hell or an average roster, New England, it doesn't take that long to win in this league. It really doesn't. You watch that game. Denver's got a lot of really good players. And a lot of them, Sean Payton, has his fingerprint on. Denver's got 4 different receivers, one a rookie from Illinois, all long, all run well, all can catch, and 2 excellent shifty running backs. For the critics, the mock draft critics that criticized the R.J. Harvey pick in the second round, he's good too. Bo Nix is young. He can uncork ugly ones, but 16, 17 yards and under, he's pretty surgical, man, and he's got weapons everywhere. Don't put this on Dak. There's nothing Dak could do. There were guys wide open. They were missing their top 3 safeties. That's not an excuse. Their defense isn't good with safeties. But I've never understood the critics of Sean Payton. The Saints were a disaster when he got there. Worst franchise in the league. They made the playoffs the following year. I mean, Denver's got the worst dead cap money situation in the history of the league. This roster is stacked on guys that Sean Payton said, get me that guy from a directional school. Receivers, running backs. I mean, they got J.K. Dobbins. It cost him a Kit Kat bar. They paid nothing. He's now 3rd in the NFL in rushing. J.K. Dobbins, who for the record is a great guy. Easy to root for because of the injuries. But here's the other thing. Pittsburgh pays a fortune for defense, and they can't stop any good quarterbacks. The Denver offense, bottom 3rd of the NFL in payroll. They can't spend any money on it because of Russell Wilson's contract. They're not paying for this offense yet. So, I mean, I love Bo Nix, but this Denver Broncos have Sean Payton written all over it. And some of these guys, it could have been Bill Walsh or Jimmy Johnson or Bill Parcells or Mike Vrabel and McVay and Andy Reid and Sean Payton. These guys can right the ship much faster. The first year, I don't care if you're Jimmy or Sean Payton, the first year can be bumpy. But Sean's one of those rare guys that knows personnel. You could put him watching film like a GM. He knows it. His footprint is all over this roster. It's almost like in Hollywood. If you watch a movie, I always look not at the actors. First thing I always look for in a movie is who's the director. Scorsese, Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, the Coen brothers. Doesn't mean it's going to win an Oscar. It doesn't mean Vrabel and Sean Payton are going to win a Super Bowl. But you know the movie's good made, smartly constructed, thoughtful. There's nothing Dallas can do. There's nothing Dak can do. Denver's roster, I said this a couple years ago about Indianapolis. Everybody was banging on Chris Ballard, the GM, and I said, are you watching the same team I am? I said it last year. The Colts got players everywhere. They just have to have a competent quarterback. This Denver roster, maybe it's not Philadelphia. Man, they got dudes everywhere. I mean, that receiving core, you can go Cortland Sutton, you can go Franklin, the kid out of Illinois, you go Mims, Harvey, Dobbins, and Bo Nix. Underneath stuff especially, I think Sean Payton is coaching them for the playoffs. He is throwing the ball down the field more because he wants this team to be able, if they go in against the Mahomes or a Josh Allen or a Herbert and they trail and they have to play catch up. I'm watching it. I feel like Sean Payton has got his eyes way down on the horizon, that he is forcing Bo Nix, get it downfield, throw the ball downfield. But I love the roster. And I mean, I'm watching that, and Dallas just didn't have the folks. Sean Payton after.
Wanted to keep them last. You know, that we went into the game. We recognize the injuries. There's a lot of injuries, you know, on our team throughout the league. That was unimportant to us. I just didn't think they could keep up with what we were doing. So I had said to the defense periodically, can you guys keep up with us? And, yeah, I thought it was a pretty one-sided game.
I don't, I mean, Sean is so blunt and so honest, but there's just certain teams, you just watch them on television and you're like, I mean, how many receivers do they have? Dak did everything he could do, but when you're trail big, high altitude, Dallas has never played well against Denver. You got to go back to Troy Aikman. The last time Dallas, honestly, it feels like that's the last time Dallas beat them. Denver's had their number forever, and yesterday it wasn't particularly close. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
All right, Colin, let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley. He finally had a good game, peeling off a 65-yard touchdown run on the second play from scrimmage. Finished with over 100 yards for the first time of this season rushing. Obviously, a 65-yarder was a big chunk of that, but he did have 174 total yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, interestingly, Colin, his backup, Tank Bigsby, came on.
Yep.
Saquon kind of left early with an injury, and Tank Bigsby went for over 100 on 9 carries. I think that's interesting. Just file that away. But here is Saquon talking about his best game of the season.
I would lie to you if I said I didn't. It wasn't like, finally. It's always great to win. It's always great to be a division rival. You know, for sure, we definitely saw how they celebrated and, you know, when they beat us last time. But I think one of my favorite things Coach Sirianni says is, you know, the revenge mindset that lasts for 5 minutes, and then it goes back to your habits.
Did you notice that it was yards per play, total yards? It was easily the best Eagles offensive performance, and A.J. Brown did not play.
Yeah, well, they tweaked some stuff, Colin. They went heavy. They went with 3 tight end sets. Remember McVay tweaked things in London with the Rams? Eagles tweaking. They went 6 offensive linemen.
Yep.
Meant a lot in this game, so new look, and they just kind of bullied the Giants at the line of scrimmage. I thought about that driving into work this morning. I'm like, I wonder if Colin's going to say, hey, they can trade A.J. Brown. Look, they can live without him. It's just one game. It's the largely dumpster fire Giants. I don't know that I would make any sweeping conclusions. Is Jahan Dotson going to be mossing people all season? Like, that's not happening, bro. Come on.
I will say this, though. You're New England. You're looking at Kansas City. You know, you're looking at Herbert. You're looking at Josh Allen, and you got young Drake May, and you're like, well, Vrabel had A.J. Brown in Tennessee. It crushed him when he left. And New England's good, and they've got a bunch of good B and number 2 and 3 receivers. Boy, it really helped to have a physical presence on the perimeter with Drake May, who you're not paying anything for the next 4 years.
So,
and you can ship him to the other conference. And if you're Philadelphia, you're like, well, you're not going to get to the Super Bowl. He's not going to come back and burn me because you're not getting through Kansas City and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Well, probably not. But so the counter would be, why would you mess with the great juju that the Patriots have right now? Everything's kumbaya. There's no alpha, like wide receiver being a diva. Do you want to bring that into your locker room? Now, your counter, of course, is Vrabel knows him. He's going to fall in line. I'm like, that's a little risky, but I don't no risk
think,
it, no biscuit.
I don't think A.J. Brown is a bad guy. I've said this about Stephon.
No. I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
No. But I'm saying is there are receivers, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, for a couple of years, no big deal, and then the drama. I was told a year ago that there was drama in the locker room. I said it, and I got a lot of pushback from Eagle fans. This thing's been happening for a year, but, you know, you win the Super Bowl, everybody's quiet, it's all great. Then all of a sudden you have struggles, but it's not a coincidence. And I remember when Dez Bryant and Dak Prescott came into the league. Dez is great. Dez was a touchdown magnet. But in the end, they did not want Dez getting in Dak's headspace. Every time he went to the sideline, they moved off. Dak flourished. Yeah. This is one of these things that Jalen is an adult. He's not going to deal with the drama. He doesn't have any interest. He just wants to win. And A.J. Brown, and I'm not criticizing him for us, he's a Hall of Famer. He wants touches, and the offense is better without him.
Is he Hall of Famer?
He's a Hall of Fame talent. He's a Hall of Fame talent.
I would agree with that. Let's move to college football, Colin. Not so surprising. Brian Kelly gets run out of LSU this weekend. It's funny. I was watching this game Saturday. It's 18-14 LSU. And then I start to get ready for a Halloween party and take a shower and stuff. I come out and Texas A&M scores like 21 in a row. And at that point, you're like, whoa, this is at LSU. Brian Kelly seems to have lost the locker room. He lost the boosters, and now he's done, Colin. It's over. Well, another huge buyout. I think the number was $53 million was his buyout. Yeah, larger than James Franklin.
I had a coach tell me last year, and the coach said, listen, he's mid-60s, that he's a Midwest guy. He was ready to retire. He sniffed the NFL about 5 years ago, and the NFL was not interested. He was interested. He was kind of done with college. And then a company comes up called LSU Football and says, yeah, here's here's 70, 80, 90 million dollars, and he goes to his family and says, we can get that second vacation home.
Second? You mean fifth?
Yeah, I mean, so the reality is this happens a lot, where he'd been a success, 3 different programs. He had his pensions. He had his money. He sniffed NFL at Notre Dame. They weren't interested. He was ready to shut it down. And then LSU came with a bag of money, and he went to his family and said, guys, what do you think? And they're like, go for it, Dad. It never felt like, I think Brian's a great coach, but this never felt like a great fit. He's a Midwestern guy. Yeah. And I think he would have fit at Penn State today better than LSU. I think he'd fit at Wisconsin, but he doesn't feel like USC. He doesn't feel like LSU or Miami. There are these jobs that they feel like a certain personality works. Miami Hurricanes, I think their current coach feels like the Hurricanes. USC, LSU, it is very unique part of the country. I think he's a good coach. I think he took the job for the wrong reasons, and the reason was a bag full of cash.
Yeah, a good football mind, not a great human being. Colin, I know a couple quarterbacks personally who I'm friends with. They have experience with Brian Kelly, and I'm just telling you, he is not the nicest, warmest individual.
Well, he's not a warm, cuddly guy. Yeah, generationally, I'm not going to make judgments on him. I just think generationally, the older coaches are louder. They bark. They're intense. I mean, Nick Saban wins.
No. But Saban's not perceived as a jerk. Okay, he gets very animated on the sideline. He'll say tough stuff, but he is beloved by his players. Go talk to some former Brian Kelly players. The stories are going to start to come out from LSU. They don't like him. I'm just telling you, he's not a nice guy, Colin. And when you're not nice and you lose, they're going to run you out of town. I don't even know if he surfaces again based on what you're saying. He says he was ready to shut it down.
I think he's ready to golf and hang out.
He could go to a mid-major and clean up and dominate.
He doesn't.
No, I don't know that he needs that. Yeah.
He's got $100 million in the bank. He's not coming back.
By the way, which is a better job, LSU or Penn State?
LSU.
Have you seen the national rankings? 8 teams from the SEC in the top 20. You know how hard it is to win at LSU?
Well, some people are afraid of competition. LSU's got more players within an hour of drive of that university than Penn State has in the state.
Wow. Okay, I'll take Penn State, and I'll see you in the playoff. You take LSU and enjoy 7-5 and beating Florida every other year.
Ed Orgeron won a natty at LSU. Nick Saban won a natty at LSU. It's Les Miles. Didn't Les Miles win a natty at LSU? Okay. Where are all the trophies up north?
The times they have changed.
The question is LSU a better job than Florida?
That's interesting.
Then I would take Florida because I've been to Gainesville 4 or 5 times. I really like Gainesville, the town. I think Gainesville is the most underrated college town in the country. And it's not like Gainesville it's just like, it's more mainstream. LSU is its own thing. Like it's its own thing, and it's all about fit. I think 1 million people could fit at Florida.
I think you could win at Penn State instantly, and you go to LSU. Colin, every year the schedule has like 7 landmines. You have to get Joe Burrow at quarterback if you want to go win. Good luck. Final story, Major League Baseball. Colin, fun weekend of the World Series. Dodgers lost game 1 badly. Then they bounced back thanks to Yamamoto with a classic. Unbelievable. All 9 innings, allowed 1 earned run on 4 hits with 8 Ks. Here's your boy Dave Roberts on his ace.
Outstanding, uber competitive, special. He was just locked in tonight. It was one of those things he said before the series, losing is not an option, and he had that look tonight.
I'm going to tell you something. The Yankees and the Dodgers both bid on Yoshi. Yeah. So the Yankees said, we'll give you $300 million, and the Dodgers said, we'll give you $335 million. I'm going to make an argument that game 2 performance, and he would pitch, I think, a game 6 or a game 7, but that game, he'd pitch game 6. So that performance and the performance against Milwaukee, there's an argument that he paid about half of that $35 million total contract on those 2 performances. Yeah. It's amazing to watch his temperament. He was in total control, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And that is a hard lineup. I mean, that lineup in game 1, they had a 9-run inning. Okay.
Colin, I don't know who's more locked in right now, Yamamoto in the last month or you with blazing 5 picks with 3 straight 4-1s. I mean, listen, Yamamoto, he was lights out.
Oh.
Game 3 tonight on Fox. My Dodgers in 5 still standing. And we got Ohtani coming up in game 4, so lock it up. I
think Toronto's going to take one of the next 2 games. I think the Jays are a handful, but they're just, this sport, in the end, what I think is fascinating is the Yankees and Dodgers both made an offer, and the Dodgers upped it. And when you pick the right person in pro sports, Jerry Jones always had the great line. Every time I've been, tried to get a bargain, that's exactly what I got, a bargain, is that this guy is top of the market. To go in to Toronto with that performance, I sat and watched every pitch. I was just like, wow.
Do you remember the consternation from people around the league? The Dodgers gave him how much money? What is this guy proven to get that kind of money? Some teams know.
What was Kurt Schilling at the top of his game, Verlander at the top of his game, Kershaw at the top of his game? When you get the superstar, they make everything around them. You don't have to go to the bullpen.
Yeah.
The bullpen gets a night off, now is totally fresh for game 3. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Man, looking forward to that. Kansas City Chiefs, Dodgers, Jays tonight. This is a really, really good time of the year. Can we just get to the Indiana-Ohio State game? Can we just get to that? It's unbelievable what's happening in Indiana. It really is. Like, they bring in this older coach, not one of these fancy, snazzy hipsters, this older guy from, like, James Madison, and he comes in, and the first year you're like, wow, that's pretty good. Now you're like, what am I watching? They're bulldozing. I've watched the first half of UCLA and Indiana, and I'm like, because I thought Indiana was good, that game wasn't competitive. That is coaching and personnel, and y'all tell me how great the SEC is. I think is Indiana better than anybody except Ohio State in the Big Ten? And is Indiana better than everybody in the SEC? Texas A&M's pretty good with a pretty interesting quarterback. But the fact that Indiana now is a football power. What? What? Huh? Okay. So, Aaron Rodgers acknowledged that even though the game was in Pittsburgh, he had to use a silent count because there were so many Packer fans at the game, which is pretty remarkable. 2 things are true. Aaron has been very good for the Steelers offense, and Green Bay made the smart move going with Jordan Love over Aaron Rodgers. They're both true. I think Aaron now realizes what we had said before he went to Pittsburgh. The Jets and the Steelers, it's the same issues. Defense first. One's got better ownership, but Pittsburgh's got issues too. They just have a better infrastructure and ownership. But both the Jets feel loose and outdated, and so do the Steelers. So I think Aaron's doing as much as a 41-year-old quarterback can with a defensive coach and a team that on 4th and 3 either punts or kicks field goals. They're not a current franchise. So that second half Steeler defense, that's why Pittsburgh lost. I put none of it on Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay almost had 300 yards in the second half. So if you look at the 3 losses for the Steelers, they're giving up 30-plus points, which would be fine if you had a bunch of rookies or you weren't spending any money on defense, but Pittsburgh is. So Aaron has the second most touchdown passes in the league, completing 68% of his throws, 104 passer rating, and 16 total touchdowns. You would have taken that 1,000 out of 1,000 times if I told you, where is Aaron after 7 or 8 weeks? So Aaron, don't forget this. Aaron's doing all he can do with the Jets and the Steelers. The Steelers are just a better franchise, but they were bad fits. That's why I kept saying over and over, just go to Minnesota. I think Aaron came out and said, I'll take $10 million. I think Aaron wanted the Vikings. I think the Vikings wanted Sam Darnold. And once they weren't willing to pay more money for Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold, I think the Vikings had three choices. Darnold 1, Jones 2, J.J. McCarthy 3, Aaron was just the fourth choice. And a lot of that's because Aaron's been prickly, and Aaron sometimes, in my opinion, lacks a little self-awareness considering how smart he is. You bring in Aaron, it feels like you're bringing in stuff to the locker room, although I think he's been great in Pittsburgh. He's been great. I think he's been tremendous. But he knows it. He's too smart not to know it. Minnesota is an offensive culture. The Rams, the Chiefs, the Broncos now, they're different. So I don't think any of this is on Aaron. Right now, this morning, I looked it up. The Steelers have the 32nd best pass defense in this league, meaning the Dallas Cowboys pass defense looks at the Steelers and goes, no, thank you. That's embarrassing. No, we are not the Steelers pass defense. So, and last night, Packer fans, Aaron talked about how many of them showed up.
Heard that chant for 18 years, so Packer fans travel really well. First time in a while I've used silent count for a home game. That's a credit to those Packer fans.
So it's funny, and I know I'm speaking to some of you out there. If you ever taken a job and you kind of know 5 or 6 months into the job, or in Aaron's case, 7 or 8 games, yeah, I wish the other one would have opened up. And I think that's where he's at. I think Aaron's too smart not to know the truth. This is the Jets, but a more polished, refined version with a better coach. Steelers are the Jets, but better, right? So Jerry Jones, listen, you watch Micah last night, and you're like, man, did they steal Micah from Dallas? No, they didn't. They didn't steal him. Cowboys got 2 first-round picks, and they don't need a quarterback, meaning those first-round picks next year, they could get another 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. When they made that Micah deal, it was always going to look great for the Packers for the first 6 months. Get to April, Dallas going to be in a good space. But Jerry Jones said he is skeptical that if Micah was still a Cowboy, the defense would be great.
If I saw a proposition for us to help this team, no matter what this score was today, then I would look at it on the merits of helping this team. And I'm not trying to be cute, but that's why you'd go get him, is that you'd think it could help your defense. One player away on defense. I think we're not.
I've been critical of Jerry Jones. He's 100% right. Green Bay didn't steal Micah. They got 2 first-round picks. And Micah still to this day has never been a great playoff edge rusher. They didn't steal anything. This has always been the Shaq Kobe deal. And I remember having a source in the Lakers building. They're like, we love them both, but if we have to make a choice, we know it's going to look awful for a couple years. Until we get Kobe the right running mate, they did eventually in Gasol and won 2 titles. But they knew initially it was going to look really bad for the Lakers because Shaq was going to a championship-ready team once he arrived. The Cowboys know Micah going to Green Bay is a championship-ready team. Dallas is not. The 3 things that matter in this league, quarterback 1, coach 2, and flexibility 3. Dallas had no flexibility. None. You could still argue they don't have the right coach. They got the quarterback, but they had no flexibility. Green Bay had the right coach and quarterback, and they had flexibility. So they said, we'll take Micah and pay for him. Dallas had so little flexibility, they couldn't afford Derrick Henry for $8 million 2 years ago when they had the worst running back room in the league. They couldn't afford it. Jerry's a deal maker. Jerry's like, I got my quarterback and I got my star receiver. It's an offensive league. I'll go find an edge rusher. You know what? He's right. Go look at this April draft. There's like 6 edge rushers in the first round, and Dallas has 2 picks, and Dallas doesn't need a quarterback. So Dallas is going to go get an edge rusher and probably a corner with the first 2 picks, solving 2 issues. So Micah, to me, is Shaq when he went to the Heat. It's like, yeah, you're going to eat a dirt sandwich for a year and a half. You're going to get crushed by everybody, but sometimes you have to make deals as a company or is this a pro sports team? And you know for a year you're going to get shelled. But you can't sit on the sidelines. I always say this about college football teams when they hire coaches. Don't worry about winning the press conference. Go get the damn right coach. Stop worrying about winning the press conference, winning now. Hire the coach that wins for a decade. That's the key. LSU, don't worry about the press conference the day after. Worry about beating Kirby Smart for 10 years. Calling right, calling wrong next.